Hi, I'm Kevin Dull, along with Mo Padios, and welcome to Sunset Rewind, where today we're going to give you our season preview on Los Alamitos football. So let's jump right into it. Los Alamitos is going to be led by Malachi Nelson. I mean, what can you say about this kid? He's perhaps the best quarterback in all of high school football in the United States right now.
One of the top-rated quarterbacks. You know, as coaches, we once went against a D1 quality quarterback.
Right.
Remember Matt Barkley from Mater Dei?
Correct.
Who ironically went to USC. And I can tell you as a coach, when they drop back in the pocket, they just have a presence about them.
Yeah.
And, you know, his leadership, his strength, his experience, I mean, he's essentially a four-year starter. So the value just in terms of his ability to lead that team is, you know, is unmeasurable.
How about his number one target, Makai Lemon, who will be joining him at USC next year?
Yeah, I mean, to have a Division I quarterback is one thing, but when you've got a Division I receiver to throw to, I mean, that's a double whammy. I don't know how teams are going to defend.
How do you
these
defend
guys.
again? How do you prepare for that? How do you defend it? I mean,
that's just. I mean, the one thing I would say to the defensive coordinators is there's only one ball. You
Right.
can have All-Americans all across the board,
Correct.
but only one ball's going to be in place. So figure out who's got the ball and go get them.
yeah, 22 guys on the field at one time, but only one guy's touching the ball.
That's right. So figure out who's got it and go get them.
Ethan O'Connor is another very talented senior and wide receiver cornerback for the Griffins. I think he's going to make significant contributions for him this year. You know, if Nelson goes through his checkdowns and finds that Lemon's bracketed or covered, you can always throw to O'Connor, which is another great weapon.
Well, you got to think they almost have to double team Lemon for obvious reasons, but that's going to open up the rest of the offense. So again, if you double team one guy, you certainly can't double team the other, and now you're running out of defensive people to try to box these players in. So, you know, at some point the players are just going to have to step up, but again, they're going against quality wide receivers, so it's going to be a challenge.
Gavin Porch, the senior running back we interviewed last week, great athlete. Obviously, he's going to be the key to success in the Griffin run game. Definitely has the potential to exceed 1,000 yards carrying this season. How do you think he's going to be a catalyst for the Griffin offense this year?
Well, if you think about it, again, you've got to key on the receivers just because they're so good. But if you're going to drop back and cover those guys, it's going to create a lot of gaps up front. So when you got a quality running back, you can get a lot of yards. You know, everybody nowadays is so into throwing the ball, and I get it, air raid. And when you got the personnel to do it, you should. But don't fall asleep on that run game because they can do a lot of damage on the ground. So, again, Los Al's got a lot of options offensively in terms of how they want to score. Of course, TJ Fenton, the offensive coordinator, he's got to feel great this year calling plays because I got to think every play they call is going to have positive gains.
So moving over to the Griffins defense, Isaiah Dorsey, who is the returning Sunset League defensive back of the year, extremely gifted athlete. You don't want to throw the ball anywhere in his zip code. If you do, he's going to intercept it and make you pay for it. How do you see him being the key to the Griffins defense this year?
Well, that whole back seven's incredible. Remember, they return all four of their defensive backs.
Right,
so
they
when
do.
we brought them in a couple weeks ago, talked to the defensive coordinator, Mike Cobley, you know, he can put in schemes now defensively that these guys know that go beyond basic football coverage because they have so much experience.
And they're used to playing his defense and their style of defense.
And they're good at it. So, you know, they can dial a lot of different coverages that you typically don't see at the high school level. So, again, we talk about their offense and the versatility. They got the same thing on defense. So, again, all around, they're loaded.
Sinn Brennan up front is their talented defensive lineman. If you're a quarterback, you don't want to see this guy anywhere near you. Run away, stay safe. Brennan is an absolute terror on the defensive line, and I think he's going to be a big difference for the Griffins too, especially if he can get to the quarterback. You know, you don't even have to worry about the quarterback throwing the ball, right?
Well, you've got Sinn Brennan on one end, and then why don't you talk a little about the other guy coming in from Georgia, defensive lineman. Tell us a little bit about him because he's
Well, here we go. T.A. Cunningham, the number one defensive lineman in the state of Georgia last year, and maybe the number one defensive lineman in the United States. He has over 50 Division I scholarship offers already. The sky is the limit for this young man. I mean, he's amazing.
Rumor has it there's pictures of him on social media in USC gear, which is a Bruin I hate to see. But man, if you're an SC fan, you got to love this.
Oh my gosh,
they're getting the whole Los Al football team, all these studs, but. Can you imagine a quarterback having those two defensive ends bearing down on you, and then you got a secondary you got to throw to with all
Brennan and Cunningham? Yeah,
I mean they're just going to be a beast up front.
Here we can see the Griffins' schedule. You can see they have 3 out-of-state games. They start with Garces from Bakersfield. Then they get to go to Florida. That game's going to be nationally televised on ESPN. They take on a tough Basha team from Arizona. They have the usual suspects in Servite and Santa Margarita.
Well, hold on a second. Let's circle that Servite game.
Right.
Remember, last year, Servite made the CIF championship game for the Open Division. And one of the big controversies for Los Al was, should they be in the Open Division as a public school? If Los Al can compete with Servite or even beat them, then clearly they're the real deal. We're going to know a lot more about Los Al. I mean, they look great on paper.
After that Servite game.
Right? But, paper only goes so far. Tape only tells you so much. Let's see how they play against all these teams are quality opponents. And remember, the one game they lost last year in the regular season was Santa Margarita.
Right.
So that's a rematch. So let's revisit these guys in 5 weeks, and we'll have a real good idea of what's happening over in Griffinville.
So their keys to success this year for Los Alamitos, one, ignore the noise. Everybody knows how great Los Al is. They've been hearing the hype.
Well, the problem is people like you sit and talk about them all day long, how great they are.
Right, exactly.
These are high school kids, and sometimes that can get to your head. So
just play the game.
That's right. Don't
just
worry about
play
what
the
we
game.
say. Worry about what you need to do.
And the other key to success for Los Al is, hey, know that you've got a big target on your backs. You are everybody's Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Everybody who plays you, you are their Super Bowl.
Every team has them circled on their calendar.
Absolutely.
And understandably so, and rightfully so. So if you just have an off night, that could be a lost night.
Right.
You got to bring
right.
your A game every single night because you're going to take everybody's best punch.
And don't take anybody for granted, and just do the things that you can do and you've been coached and taught to do. And I mean, it should be the sky's the limit for Los Al. And I think, this could be the year, the big run.
They're going to be a great team to watch. I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be a lot of fun watching Los Al. Well, thank you very much for joining us on another edition of Sunset Rewind. I'm Kevin Dole. This is Mo Padios. Have a great day, and God bless you.